I think there's a little mistake on the cover of this month's Blocks magazine. We're gonna check it out here on Beyond the Brick. So here we go, we got Blocks magazine. It's Jurassic World featured on the cover of the magazine here. We've also got Cloud City, some stuff about LEGO Masters Season 2. I mentioned that I think there's a little bit of a mistake here on the cover. I am a big Jurassic Park nerd, so I'm not gonna be a mean troll about it, but hopefully I can give my buddies over at Blocks magazine a little bit of a hard time about it in fun. We'll talk more about that later. Oh man, this is really cool. We'll get into that a little bit later in the magazine. And you know what? Let's just plug away. Here we've got a letter that a guy wrote in about how difficult it was to find his Percival Graves. It sounds like a young guy and his brother. And this is a fun story here. We've got someone that submitted their river cruise. We're going to dive into an article here with some quotes from the new CEO of LEGO, and it focuses on kind of rebuilding, and it looks like things are headed in a good direction for the LEGO group. We got a little bit about winter village sets. We got some statistics here, and then this is just a little blurb here about the AFOL designer program through Bricklink. I'm excited about this. I submitted some models. I've got a handful of friends that submitted models to the AFOL designer program. It's a brand new thing. Some parts of it are hard to understand exactly how it's going to work, but I look forward to hopefully sharing news about this with you all in the future. And let's see, then we've got some info here about the life-size Bugatti that was built. Moving on. We're just gonna blast through some of this stuff. Here's a look at designing the Cloud City. This is a Q&A with one of the set designers. Then we have our diaries from the various Blocks magazine contributors. And of course, Daniel Konstanski is at it again. He's caught my eye with the dang Black Seas Barracuda. My favorite set of all time, but this is a really interesting article where he's talking about the complexity of the steps in LEGO instructions over the years, and you know, just kind of some interesting milestones throughout the years where that complexity changed drastically from more complex to less complex, and Daniel has some ideas about why that might be. Interesting read. We've got an article here from Steve about the Art of the Brick exhibit. This came through Portland. I know John and Joshua Hanlon got to see this. I think one of my favorite things is this red dress. You know, you can see this stuff from Nathan Sawaya all over the internet, and if you get a chance to check it out in real life, it's definitely worth going, and Steve's review on his experience is definitely worth a read. We've got Graham here covering a little bit about just his personal experience when he went to visit the LEGO Masters build room. He snagged a nice little selfie of himself here in the build room. We've got some behind the scenes shots going on here, and there's more about this later on in the magazine, so let's keep moving on here. And we've got some top 10 things you didn't know about minifigures. This is a lot of content that I recognize from the press release that LEGO sent fan media organizations earlier in the year to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the minifigure. This is some really interesting stuff. When I saw those assets for the first time, I remember my favorite thing being these, you know, hand-sketched renderings of these the minifigures, the collectible minifigures. So we've got the minifigure designers actually, you know, taking their ideas with pen or pencil and paper and sketching them out and adding some, you know, ink for color. And these are some of my favorite things. I wish I could take them and blow them up and put them on the walls of my studio because I just think they're so amazing. Okay, of course the minifigure hasn't always looked the way it has. You know, we've got some early iterations here of characters in LEGO form, but it's kind of amazing that since 1978, they've pretty much looked like this. All right, let's move on. Here we've got a larger article about inside LEGO Masters, the Season 2 or Series 2, and this is interesting stuff. You know, this is not a show that I am familiar with. this article made me want to go find it, figure out where I can watch this show and watch it, because, you know, putting Lego into reality TV seems like a no-brainer. This seems like such a great idea. I definitely want to get connected with this, and if you're interested in hearing about Blocks Magazine's take on Season 2 or Series 2 of Lego Masters, this article is definitely worth a read. Okay, here we get into the reviews, and we've got a lot of Jurassic World stuff here. And my favorite of the Jurassic World, you know, isn't even Jurassic World. This is a set based on a scene from the original Jurassic Park movie. I love this because it reminds me of my childhood. I saw the original Jurassic Park film more times in the movie theater than I have ever seen, you know, any other movie. I think I saw it 7 times in the theater, and this just reminds me of that. You know, I absolutely love this little Nedry image on the computer where he pops up and he's laughing at the person trying to hack into the computer. They've got a map of Isla Nublar here. We've got the, you know, the embryo storage over here, and these little, you know, transparent orange things remind me of the amber nuggets that they would drill into to get the DNA out of the mosquitoes. Oh man, this is really cool. Here's the thing. Alan Grant is wearing Tim Murphy's shirt, and Tim Murphy is wearing Alan Grant's shirt. Now, a very simple mistake, because, you know, they're basically the same torso in the same color with just 2 different prints. And the only reason I noticed it was because Alan Grant wears the little red ascot. And so, you know, as I said, that mistake did make it to the cover of Blocks Magazine. So I just gotta razz my buddies over at Blocks Magazine a little bit. So don't give them too hard a time. That was an easy mistake to make, and only, you know, what I have to admit in this moment is that perhaps my Jurassic Park nerddom far outweighs the blunder of putting the wrong torsos on minifigures. So, all right. The egg's on my face. But anyway, there we go. I'm excited about this set. I wish I had it. I did snag the Alan Grant figure just for my collection, and that was the thing I was most excited about. And they gave it an 85. Pretty cool. All right, let's move on. Enough about that. We got more dinosaur stuff. Let's see, moving on. Here we've got an article about Luis, one of the guys behind some of the Jurassic World sets. Keep moving on. I think one of the coolest things about all these sets are all the new dinosaur elements that come out of this. We've got a couple of Technic reviews here. The rough terrain crane, we've seen this on Beyond the Brick, and they give it a 94 out of 100, which seems really high. This was a really amazing set. Okay, here we go. We keep moving on. A little bit more from, like, the Wasp. Here's all of the reviews from Blocks of, you know, they're running tallies of the various reviews that they have done. There's a little Beyond the Brick ad. Alright. A new Lego Family Tree article. This is on exploration. This is kind of getting in the family tree into an area that I was never terribly into, but I do remember when this came out, this you know, undersea kind of exploration lab, and I saw that in a catalog, and I thought it was something really special. I don't know if maybe those, you know, half sphere dome windows were new at that time or what, but something about this set really popped out to me when it was brand new. I never had that set, but I absolutely loved it. We'll keep going here. So this is a lot about explorers stuff, you know, from the 90s and into the 2000s. And then here again we've got our rolling family tree. So this is a big project that we've got from Blocks here. A lot of work going into this, and it'll be fun to see kind of all of these things, I hope, eventually, I keep saying that like I imagine that that's going to happen, and they're probably watching this video going like, oh, we're not actually going to show them all together. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, we got London A-Foals, Lug Spotlight, and then this is really cool. Our article on Block's photography, and this talks mostly about using things in your photography that are not brick-based. So especially for people who don't have a massive collection to build up entire terrains of stuff, and so they talk about this stuff, and they've used kinetic sand here, and they've used, I think, like cornstarch here for the snow, and this is, I mean, really amazing pictures that we've got going on with this stuff. So if you're interested in expanding your ideas about what you can do with Lego photography, as always, Blocks Magazine has some great ideas here. We've got a brick-built James Bond. I think somewhere it said that this, okay, makes the perfect companion for the new Lego Creator Expert Aston Martin DB5. I don't think his knees bend, so perhaps it would just look good to like set this guy next to your Aston Martin. And then this is a piece perception. It's about the planets. But look at this thing. This is an amazing build, and it's got that same element. Well, I'm sorry, it's not the same element, but it's a similar element in the center there. That's a Death Star, and obviously in this case they're using it as, you know, part of the interior or the inside of this ship. Really cool stuff going on there. And then this is funny. This is called Handy Solutions, and it's all these different ways that you can use the minifigure hand element in your builds. I think the thatched roof here is probably my favorite. We are getting near the end. We've got some mocks here to look at. This is Dungeons and Dragons inspired builds. Then we've got a bunch of books here depicting various stories, you know, from history and from pop culture. We've got a cool Toyota Supra. That's pretty neat. And then this is one of the Dungeons and Dragons, the mimic from one of those previous pages there, and it actually shows you how to build it. We'll move on. Let's see. This is an interesting thing about a series that Lego is calling Master Builder Series. It doesn't actually have it on the box, but this Betrayal at Cloud City set is kind of being considered something. It's not Ultimate Collector Series, because those are really intended to be, you know, incredibly detailed models that sit on a shelf and look amazing and are incredibly challenging to build. This is very large, challenging to build, but is full of play functions, and it comes with like, I think, 20 minifigures. So they're trying to provide a different experience here, and it seems to me like this is probably the first set that they're calling the Master Builder Series, but that they want to continue it. They're saying, you know, a set like the Assault on Hoth might have been considered a Master Builder Series set if that was, you know, a series, if that was a terminology that was being used at the time. This is interesting to me, and then it's saying, you know, UCS is going to continue being reserved, you know, for kind of those massive detailed models. All right, Blocks Brictionary. I always refer people when they're new to the community to go to Blocks Brictionary every month. It's at the back of the magazine, and it helps a lot with those terminologies, you know, those words, those insider language, the lingo that we have as A-Foals, and you can learn a lot about that here. And the magazine ends here with a Brickwife article about traveling to London, and it looks like we've got some Harry Potter in next month's edition of Blocks Magazine. So that's November in Blocks Magazine. If you want to know more about this magazine, check it out at www.blocksmag.com. And if you want to see great videos about Lego every single day, I'd love to invite you to subscribe to Beyond the Brick. Thank you for watching.